Welcome to Speak Up English Hub, everyone. Today, we are tackling one of the most essential skills you can ever master: communication. We're going to explore an absolutely brilliant four-part framework from a Harvard professor that, I promise you, will change the way you talk and listen forever. So if you're ready to really upgrade your conversation skills, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
You know that feeling, right? Lying in bed at night, replaying a conversation in your head, thinking, ugh, why did I say that? Or I wish I had said this instead. We have all been there. It's this super common, super frustrating feeling. But what if you could pretty much eliminate that? What if you could walk away from your interactions feeling confident, understood, and truly connected? Well, you can. So first things first, we have to understand the main villain in this story. And it's a little thing called egocentrism. Now, this isn't about being arrogant or selfish. It's actually a default setting in our brains. We are naturally wired to see the world through our own eyes. I mean, think about your last disagreement. Were you actually listening to understand the other person's point? Or were you just reloading, waiting for them to take a breath so you could make your point? Yeah, that's egocentrism, and it's the #1 thing that gets in the way of a real connection.
But here's the good news. We can fight back against our own brains. And our guide in this fight is Professor Allison Woodbrooks from Harvard Business School. She teaches this incredible course, and you gotta love the name. It's called Talk, How to Talk Goodter. And yes, you heard me right, Goodter. That little bit of playful grammar tells you everything. This is serious, science-backed stuff, but it's delivered in a way that's totally approachable and fun.
Now, why should we even bother trying to talk good tutor? Well, it's all in pursuit of what Professor Woodbrooks calls higher status. And hold on, when you hear the word status, don't think about money or job titles. That's not it at all. We're talking about a much more valuable kind of currency: being liked, being respected, having influence, and forging genuine connections. That is the real goal here.
So, how do we get this status? How do we become that person that people respect and want to connect with? Well, lucky for us, the professor has broken it all down into a super simple, memorable method. It's called the TALK method. It's a 4-part framework that's going to be your new secret weapon in every single conversation.
And here it is, in all its glory. TALK. T is for topics, A is for asking, L is for levity, and K is for kindness. Looks pretty straightforward, doesn't it? But trust me, the power is in how these pieces work together. So let's dive into each one.
Okay, first up, T for topics. Now, you wouldn't go into a huge presentation at work or a big exam without preparing, would you? Of course not. So why do we walk into important conversations, like a first date or a meeting with our boss, totally cold? Just a few seconds of preparation can be the difference between that horrible, awkward silence and a conversation that really flows.
And get this statistic is wild. Studies show that only about 10% of people actually think of topics to discuss before something like a date. 10%. That means 90% of people are just showing up and hoping for the best. So if you just take 30 seconds to think of 2 or 3 interesting things to bring up, you are already miles ahead of the competition. It's a huge, huge advantage.
And to help you structure this preparation, you can use this brilliant tool, the topic pyramid. It's basically a roadmap. You start at the bottom with level 1, which is just small talk, the weather, what you did over the weekend. Then you move up to level 2, tailored talk. This is where you start personalizing it, asking about their specific interests. And the goal is to reach the top, level 3, deep talk. This is where the real magic, the real connection happens.
Okay, next up is A for asking. And this might be the most important part of the entire framework. It all comes down to this single quote from the professor. Just let this one sink in for a minute. The key to being a good conversationalist is not about being interesting, it's about being interested. Wow. We spend so much energy trying to sound smart or funny when all we really need to do is become genuinely curious about the other person.
And how do you show you're interested? Well, it's with your secret weapon, the follow-up question. This is the single most powerful tool you have to fight that egocentrism we talked about. When someone tells you something, instead of immediately relating it back to yourself, just pause and ask them more. A simple, wow, what was that like? Or tell me more about that part can completely transform the dynamic of a conversation. It's how you practice what's called perspective taking.
All right, moving on to L for levity. You know those conversations that feel heavy, like you're just trudging through mud? They're missing levity. Professor Woodbrooks calls it the sparkle and fizz. It's the humor, the warmth, the playfulness that makes talking to someone fun. And listen, this is not about being a stand-up comedian. It's just about finding little moments of shared laughter or pointing out something silly. It's what keeps people engaged and wanting more.
Now,
Here's where it gets really strategic. You don't use levity the same way in every situation. It depends on your relative status. For example, if you're the boss or the most experienced person in the room, high status, a little bit of self-deprecating humor works wonders. It makes you seem more human and approachable. But if you're new to the group, low status, cracking jokes might not be the best move. Instead, asking really smart, thoughtful questions is a way to show confidence and actually raise your status. It's all about reading the room.
And that brings us to our foundation, the final letter, K, for kindness. Now please don't mistake this for being nice or being a pushover. That's not what this is about. In this context, kindness is an active skill. It's the choice to use respectful language. It's the discipline to listen to understand, not just to argue. Kindness is the bedrock upon which all trust and all meaningful relationships are built.
So how do you put kindness into action? One of the best ways is through what's called spoken listening. It's a 3-step process. First, you hear and you see. You're taking in not just their words, but their tone, their body language, everything. Second, you actually process it. You think, what do they really mean? But here's the crucial 3rd step. You show them you listened. You reflect back what you understood by saying something like, okay, so what I'm hearing is you're feeling that simple act. Makes the other person feel seen and valued like nothing else can.
So there you have it. Topics, asking, levity, and kindness. The talc method. And I hope you can see this is so much more than a few tips for making small talk. People sometimes dismiss this stuff as soft skills, but there is nothing soft about it. This is a power skill that will impact every single corner of your life.
And I really want to end with this powerful idea from Professor Woodbrooks herself. How we talk is who we are and what we're able to do in the world. Just think about that. Our ability to connect, to influence, to lead, to love, it all comes down to how we talk.
Okay, theory is great, but we're all about practice here at Speak Up English Hub. I don't want you to just listen to this and forget it. I want you to use it. So right now, it's time to turn this lesson into action. Here's your challenge. I want you to look at these 4 skills: topics, asking, levity, and kindness. And I want you to choose just one, not all 4, just one to focus on this week. Which one of these calls out to you? Which one do you feel could make the biggest immediate difference in your life right now?
Once you have your answer, I want you to commit to it. Go down to the comments section right now and tell me which skill you're going to practice. Are you on team topics, team asking? Let me know. Making that public commitment is a powerful first step. And hey, if you found this lesson valuable, a quick tap on the like button and subscribing to Speak Up English Hub would mean the world to us. Thank you so much for your time and attention today. I can't wait to see you in the next one.